Okay, T-56. Now this is not going to be a full rebuild. This is, but you can use this as a full rebuild. I'm just fixing a reverse, putting a front seal and a rear seal in it. But you can, I've done enough that you should be able to use it as a rebuild video. I'm not going to pull this last gear off, it's just too much work to press it. And everything else come off real easy, so this is as far as I'm going. On the synchronizer here, this wire clip has a little tip on it. This one is starting right here and it's going this way. So this one we're going to start right here. We're going to go this way. Okay. On your slider here, you have this area right here. See how it's different? This big notch is going to go on one of those. This ID mark is going to face up. And it's going to want to push out on you. That's going to be a hard part, is keeping everything all together. So, they ever send you a picture?
Sweet.
And it's easier if you got two people to do this. One to hold these in, the other one to slide it on. Alright, well, that would be difficult. Helps if you have it lined up. Little notches in there on the synchronizer that you gotta line up. Thought I had it lined up, apparently I did not. It's going to make me wish I'd never taken this off. Okay, apparently it does not want to cooperate. I am gonna have to get another person in here. Alright, that was a pure D son of a bitch right there. Right, and you got this synchronizer ring. Those notches have to line up on those right there. You got your cone. Got the inner part of the synchronizer. You got the hub. And looks like we might have moved up some, so probably gonna have to go press this back down. On your snap ring, you see that there's a taper to the tips. You want the short end of the taper facing up. Barrel bearing, and these notches have to line up on there. Taper bearing slides on. There's an O-ring that will keep that all together. Barrel bearing, or gear, spacer, synchronizer. Those notches have to line up on those again. And I have to go press this on, so bring this back up, line that up on there, and then press that down till it's bottomed out. Alright, same way on your snap ring, short end of the taper up. Same way with the synchronizer, line up the tabs. Put your input shaft on. Okay, we got another wire, a little tab. I'm gonna put it in the center so we can get the back side of that inside of it. Well, it's going to be difficult. Wants to be a son of a bitch going in, but it'll just fall apart when you try to do anything with it. Alright, we have this, goes on the back side here. Just kind of pops into place. Oh, and just fell apart. Just fell apart. But of course, there we have the plastic ring. Goes a spacer, it goes in here, and our little wire is going to wind the opposite direction. Let's see which way we were going. Looks like we're going this way, so we're going to go this way. Okay, then we have the ID mark. It's going to face up towards the gear. Same way, we got the recess right there. That lines up, the center one lines up on there. Synchronizer ring lines up. We have the spring, goes on the front of the gear. It's going to sit on there like so. There's going to be a barrel bearing and a spacer it goes in between. And this is what went wrong. These little things disintegrated. There's a little notch in there. Got to line up on there. And this is what went wrong. And allowed that synchronizer to grind because this was not able to put it in the gear properly. You just pop on there. There we go. And then this is going to sit on there like so. Okay, we got the shaft, got the barrel bearing. Gear, Synchronizer does the same thing as all the rest of them. Okay, it came off super easy. It's not wanting to go on super easy, so let me go press this in. Okay, same way with snap ring, short end of the taper up. Same way with the Synchronizer. Here's a little shim that goes on here. Barrel bearing gear. And the spacer with the recess facing that way. And then we have some more pads. The main shift rails have pads also. They look like this. I've already changed them. These are still on there pretty good. Just take them off and pop the new ones in. Alright, I'm gonna have to figure out how I'm gonna set this camera up to be able to see assembling this thing. So let me get working on that. I may just have to do it right here, but I'm gonna have to clean off some spots on my bench to do it. So let me do that and we'll assemble this into the case. And let's see how much we can get done with before we have to turn that fan on. Alright, keep track of the shims that you had. May be able to use the same ones. If you haven't changed anything like I haven't in the front end, then they should be the same. Go ahead and put our input shaft in. Put the counter shaft in. Okay, put your main shaft in with your shift rods. And put your counter shaft in. Put your other shift rod in. Make sure that that's together. And make sure we get lined up in here. I think this is on the wrong side. Alright, don't know why it didn't want to go in there, but here, just shoved them back out. Make sure that those two rails get on there, on that little collar right there. And I explain this because you're not going to be able to see it. You're going to put your bead of silicone, a very thin layer. You don't need much. 15 millimeters come in from the front. As you're putting this down, you have this spring and detent ball that are going to have to go in at the same time that this rail is coming through. And you're going to put this ball, let's see which way we need to be. The ball is going to be down. It's easier to put some grease on it. Put it up in that little detent hole right there. Let's see if we can get something on this. Kind of hard to do this away from you when you can't see it. Alright, put some grease on there. And you're going to put your detent on and slide it on that shaft as you're going down. Alright, I'm definitely not going to be able to show this because I'm going to have it pointing towards me. So once I get that on, I will be back. And don't forget your races. I don't know if I said that. Make sure your races are in the back there. Go ahead and lube those up. Okay, you got two of these. One goes in this hole. Make sure that the rail is lined up on both of them. And don't run it down with an impact. And 40 torques on both of them. Okay, you got the roll pin, goes through on the linkage here. On this back here, I have this collar. The groove faces in, and there's a roll pin that goes on that also. So I'm gonna have to face this towards me to get that in there. And let's see, I gotta wait for my gray Loctite to show up. We'll go ahead and talk about the tail housing. Hopefully you can see all this. So we got shim down in here. Actually, this one has two. Just depending on what your end play is, what you're going to need. This little tab's got a face in that slot right there. And there is a groove for this to sit down into. Shims. Then our race. Then we have idler gear, barrel bearing, and the groove facing in on the gear. That's going to sit right here. And then our Torx bolts to hold that in with the gray Loctite. Okay, got a little ahead of myself. This doesn't go on yet. We got to put our other piece on. Problem is, I'm not going to be able to get this camera where you can watch me stick it in. So, we're going to have to talk about it and then do it. Go ahead and put something on here to keep this collar from sliding off. This has to all slide on, spline into there. This has to go in onto this shaft right here, and then there's a snap ring that holds that in. I believe it's going to be this one. And we also got to have this gear has to go on, and that's going to have to be tapped on because it's a kind of a press fit. So let me get that in there, and then we'll come back and talk about the next piece. Okay, so apparently I put this in upside down also. This goes in with the recess facing the counter shaft. So don't make that mistake. Okay, actually this is backwards. This needs to be facing this way. Okay, it just doesn't seem to be a good way to do this. So I'm going to have to show it this way. I got the two magnets go in there, and we got the fork that goes on here. We got that ring that goes on there. It's going to go on here. And our barrel bearing and our gear and synchro assembly. There we go. It's going to go on here. And our brace going to go on here, and snap ring going to go on the back. Okay, forgot to mention that there is a snap ring that goes right there. And we got that, and we have our synchronizer, we have our wavy ring and our gear. We have our washer, and then another snap ring. Okay, we got this small snap ring that goes there. We have a ring, bearing, and a ring. We got another snap ring that goes on there, right in that groove. this groove right here. We got a snap ring that goes on right there. This gear goes on top, and then another snap ring on top of that. Okay, alright, here we go. Put your bead of silicone on here, put your tail housing on, and 15 millimeters that hold that on. This thing goes right there. Okay, we have this detent ball. Put a little thread sealant on there. Goes on right here. Come on, start in there. Nope, just didn't want to go. .15/16 on that. Alright, our switch, put a little bit of thread sealant on that also. .7/8 on that. Exactly why I hate standards. I just can't stand them. Now some people love them. I'd much rather build an automatic. Alright, a little bit of silicone up here. Our plate, 13 millimeters for that. We have an O-ring on this switch, and it didn't have a wrench big enough for this. I guess I can measure it, see what it measures out to be. We'll do it in millimeters, I guess. 33.31. What's that work out to be? Fractions. Inch and 5/16. Alright, I'll tighten it down in a minute. We got speed sensor with an O-ring. Goes down here, and 10 millimeter on that. Got this other switch with an O-ring. 13 millimeter on that. Alright, the last thing we got is the other shifter piece. Line that up, put your roll pin in, make sure that your bushing is in there. Alright, we can shift it through the gears. See, it should be neutral. And should be first. Second. Third. Fourth, fifth, sixth, and see if we can get reverse out of this. Go this other way. There. And that's reversed. Alright, go back to neutral. And we are neutral. Alright. Finally done with this turd.